Hey guys, welcome back. So it's literally 7:30 a.m. in the morning here. It's very early. I'm in a hotel room, so I guess there's people sleeping in the next room here. So I'm gonna try to be a little bit quiet. But I wanted to update here on the markets a little bit before I get ready to go out. So first thing, I just responded to all my emails, all the people especially that joined my BitConnect team for the past few days. I didn't have time to get back to you before, but I just responded all my emails. So please check your email for my links. Check your spam folder. Sometimes they go there. So just so you know, I responded every single email today. From the people that join my team on BitConnect. I'm not responding emails that are asking me questions about coins because you can imagine I receive tons of emails every day, and this YouTube channel is not my main thing. I do other things online which are my main stream of income. This YouTube channel is secondary. It's not, I do it for fun, but I receive a lot of emails from my other main things that I do online. So I'm not going to be responding personal questions on coins and stuff like that. Sorry about that, guys, but I don't have the time to do that. But I did share my link for my premium videos for all the people that join my team. And thanks again, guys, for this. We have 72 people here right now. Some people are getting referrals themselves, so they're enjoying the platform as much as I am. Just quick overview here. I have a total of 25.6 coins accumulated. I'm only waiting for the price to go up a little bit more, somewhere near 300, and I'm going to be doing a big loan. I'm going to be lending, doing a $5,010 loan as soon as the price goes up a little bit more for the coin. So now get into Bitcoin. So I have here the weekly candles for Bitcoin. Okay, so in the short term, for the short term, I think we're gonna break the all-time highs, go a little bit higher, but at some point we're gonna have to retrace more than this, because sooner or later we're gonna have to come down to bounce on the moving average, because that's something that always happens, no matter what asset, no matter anything. Sooner or later we have to come down to test the moving averages. As you can see here, right, we bounce, touch moving average before going higher and come back down, crash to bounce on the moving average, crash to bounce on the moving average, up and down to bounce on the moving average, up and down to bounce on the moving average. So we sooner or later we're gonna have to come down to test the moving average. We are very far from the moving average now. So the idea here is you don't want to buy at these levels. If you are in already, if you bought, at this previous breakout or lower, then you're fine. Me personally, I bought, my average cost for the last entry was 4,800. I started to buy at 4.6, a little bit more at 4.8, a little bit more at 5. So my average cost was 4.8. I expect this to go a little bit higher and come back down to the moving average, which will be around $5,000. I am not going to try to time this stop because I don't want to sell it. I don't care if it goes down to 5,000, which is the price I bought. I don't care if it goes down to 5,000, which I would be breaking even for some time, because I expect this to bounce on the moving average and then go higher and then break the all-time highs. This is for the short term, okay? And now I'm gonna tell you why, because what I always say is, most of the time you should not be buying or selling. Most of the time you should be only observing, watching the market, studying the market, and waiting patiently for as many months as necessary, waiting for the right time to enter. That's what you should be doing 80% of the time. You should not be trading or buying or selling, just watching for the right time to enter. Then some other times it's time to trade. So ideally you buy low and sell high, so you make the profit. But then in other times, you don't want to be trading the market. You want to be buying and holding, because trading is very risky. And obviously, sometimes it's more risky to buy and hold than to trade. So I favor more trading than buying and holding, usually, most of the time. But there's times when you don't need to be trading, and it's better to just buy and hold. And that would be when we finally correct here and retrace and come down to touch moving average. That would be a good entry to buy and hold, so far for what I can read right now at the moment. And I'm going to tell you why. If we look at the logarithmic chart, I'm not a fan of the logarithmic chart because it's very deceiving if you're not used to it. If you're not used to looking at this chart, I'm definitely not used to looking at this chart. I never use it, so it's deceiving. It can be deceiving, but for this example, I'm going to need to use it, because the good thing about the logarithmic chart is that it shows you the growth proportionally, percentage-wise, not real price, but proportion. So, for example, I'm going to go back to the normal chart, not logarithmic. So from this dip here at 3,000 to this top here at 8,000, that's a $5,000 movement, okay? From this dip here at 900 up to 3,000, it was a $2,000 movement, and this is a $5,000 movement. So in terms of real numbers, it's a lot higher. But if we look percentage-wise, proportionally, this was from this dip to this top, this was 237%. When this last movement here from this dip to this top, even though in real numbers is a lot more, here it was a lot less percentage-wise. It was 162% gains. So this is when the logarithmic chart, it's useful, because you see percentage-wise, you can see very easily how this was a bubble, okay, but how this is not a bubble. So when markets grow and they get mature, they tend to decelerate. The growth percentage-wise tends to reduce in speed and growth. So percentage-wise, it's going to continue to grow, but slower, less and less in percentage. So that's the trend that I can see continuing through 2018. The trend is very clearly uptrending, is a very strong uptrend that is decelerating percentage-wise, which shows a market getting more mature over time. I don't see this as bubbly as I saw this. If we just look at this like this, you can see, let's go back to the normal chart, you can see how fast it went up and how the parabolic movement accelerated at the end. That is just how market tops are formed. That's how bubble tops look when it goes up super fast and it continues to accelerate as it gets to the top, and it doesn't retrace on the way, and it doesn't have healthy correction or consolidations. For example, here in the beginning of 2017 or end of 2016, you could see there was a parabolic movement up and then a correction testing the previous high. And then it went down and then continued to grow, then had another parabolic movement and then crashed, testing the previous high. And then again, parabolic movement and crashed, testing the previous high. So you could see this was a healthy growth, a healthy uptrend. This was the time to buy and hold. You didn't like. This was not the time to trade the market. At the beginning of 2017 or end of 2016 was the time to buy and hold. You don't want to put your money at risk trading these parts here when you are so clearly in a healthy uptrend. Now, when this started to accelerate, go up so fast, never testing previous highs and accelerating at the top and getting so far from moving average, then is when you want to start selling. Then is when you want to start looking for exits here and selling the tops. When this happened after this, we had this really big crash here. We were here. The probability of this bouncing here and going higher, I would give a 3% probability. The probability of this continuing to go down to the second moving average and test the previous high at 1,200, the probability of this continuing to crash down here was, I would give it a 97% probability. It didn't happen as it happens with markets. You're not going to be right 100% of the times. Markets are going to troll you all the time, very often. So this bounce here, okay? And then we broke the all-time high. So ideally, you would have been wanting to sell these tops here. You would have been accumulating at the beginning of the year, not trading these parts here, just holding so that you don't put your money at risk here, and then selling at the tops here. Even when it bounced here on the moving average, obviously it was going to bounce. That was a great trading opportunity, buying this dip and selling this high, because that would be the classic return to normal in bubbles. I didn't buy this dip, but I didn't sell a lot in these highs here. I was waiting to see what happened, and as soon as this bounced here and got near all-time highs and started retracing quick, I sold in this high, most of it. Because the probability of this going back down to 1,200 was very, very high. So you get away of these parts. This is the times when trading is useful. You want to trade these parts. You want to sell these highs, buy these lows and sell these highs. When you see these types of things happening, this, the perfect market top here, then is when you want to trade. You don't want to be holding on to this here. This doesn't mean you're going to be right 100% of the times, but if you continue to do this, if you continue to buy these dips and hold here, you're going to get burned, very, very easily. So anyways, then this continued to go up and broke the previous high. That was the perfect entry. I entered on this breakout here. I was sharing videos already back then. So I entered back in on this breakout. So we had this bounce here, went up, and then we made it from 1.8 to 5,000. But you see how this changed already, how the price action changed already. So the breakout was very fast. It went up very fast and very much, which is normal in breakouts. But at the top, it decelerated. Like it started to go slower, which is more healthy than when you see the top accelerating, like top of bubbles. Here the top started to go slower. We had this correction, and again we bounced on moving average, which was on the previous top again, and we bounced there. From here this looked a little bit weak, so I waited here, just observing and waiting for the right time. And as soon as I saw this bullish triangle breakout here at 4.6, 4.8, then was the time to re-enter again. And this was great, this movement here. But again, if you see, the breakout was fast, as breakouts are. But when we get near the top, we decelerate here. We start going slower. And here, yeah, we were overextended, which, caused a big correction here, which is perfectly healthy. But in general, this doesn't look like a bubble as much as this part did here, which you can see very clearly on the logarithmic chart. Now this doesn't look like a bubble anymore. This is again time to buy the dips and hold. This is not, I wouldn't be trading these parts. I'm not going to be trading Bitcoin right now. I'm going to just be holding. Since my last entry was at 5,000, at 4,800, I don't need to buy again if it goes back to the same price, because it's not going to change my average cost, and I'm cool with what I'm holding. I don't need to have any more than that. So I'm not selling the tops. I would be, if anything, buying the dips and holding. That's what I see, how this market is moving, and that's how I see the trend is going to continue during the next year, unless, of course, we start to accelerate here now and we start going parabolic to, 15,000 or 20,000, all in a parabolic movement. Then I will for sure be selling the tops like I did here. But for now, I think it's going to go a little bit higher and come back to retest the moving average, which I would say it's going to be around the $5,000 level at some point. And there I would, if I didn't have a position yet, or I didn't have a big enough position, I would be buying that dip and holding. I hope this message is clear, what I'm trying to explain here. And now for Bitcoin Cash is basically the same thing. Bitcoin Cash, I don't think it's time to trade it. I mean, it would have been great if you bought at 500 and then sold at almost 3,000 here. Well, this is the chart for Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin. But anyways, if you would have bought here and sold here, then yeah, you're good. You can buy again. But I don't want to waste my time and put my money at risk trying to trade this when I think this is only the very beginning. And we're going to break the all-time highs and go much, much, much higher here. I think Bitcoin Cash would have been like Bitcoin in this, in one of these movements here, very parabolic, violent crash, and it might go lower than that. So what? I expect a huge bull run on Bitcoin Cash. I would be very, very surprised if Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash are not 50-50 in dominance in the next few months. I would be very surprised. Now, this doesn't mean I'm going to be right. Anything I say could be completely wrong. As I like to say, I don't have a crystal ball and markets can do anything. I don't have a contract with Bitcoin Cash, so that it has to go higher here. I don't know. It doesn't have to happen, but probability says this is only the very first wave. The very first little wave before exploding. Look at this crazy volume here and look at the little red volume here. We're about to get oversold, so this can still consolidate or maybe have one more dip here, but give it 1 week or two. And this is going to start exploding again by probability. So I'm not going to be trying to time these parts, because I see these parts like I saw these parts in Bitcoin in the beginning of 2017. I never sold these tops and bought these bottoms here. You would have made some percentages here, but so what? It's much more easy to just buy the dip and hold, or accumulate in this area and just hold it. So yeah, that's the general message. That's how I see the state of the market at the moment. I mean, the total market cap chart, it doesn't get any more bullish than this. It just broke the previous high and it's having consolidations and corrections on the way. So nothing looks bubbly right now as it did here, okay? This looked bubbly, this looked toppy. This to me doesn't look bubbly at all now. But again, it doesn't mean it cannot crash now and correct 80% if anything happens, on the news or whatever. It could happen, of course, but by probability, I wouldn't be calling for a bubble right now as I see the patterns here on the chart. I mean, how this is healthy growing and not accelerating at the top or anything. It's just having a lot of consolidations and a lot of corrections on the way, and the previous high has just been broken. So this leg has to continue, go a little bit higher before correcting again, going into a little bit of a bear trend here for, who knows, maybe 2 months of a bear trend, but not like a bubble burst. That's what I'm trying to say here. So my 3 main holds are still Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and BitConnect. Of course, there's going to be a few altcoins that are going to be outperforming Bitcoin at some, during 2-3 days, during 1 day for a pump and dump or whatever. But the general direction, the strongest ones are Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and BitConnect. to me. That's what I'm doing. So Bitcoin is here. There's a few above Bitcoin right now. Actually, I should move this to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. 16 coins above Bitcoin, outperforming Bitcoin on the last 24 hours. Out of 1,300, that's like what, 1%, 2%? I mean, I don't think you're gonna find this 1 or 2% if you scan the whole market. And even then, they are not good holds, they are only bouncing. But yeah, the more stable one is Bitcoin, and now Bitcoin Cash, because it's showing so many signs that this was only the very beginning. This is only the beginning, just like we saw, for example, in Ethereum here. This, what we had in Bitcoin Cash now, it was what happened in Ethereum here, this part here. This ran up parabolic and then corrected and then consolidating. This is only the beginning. And look, I'm not saying it might go up parabolic again, Bitcoin Cash, and it might correct to the same level where I bought for. Well, I don't think it's gonna go to 500, never again, Bitcoin Cash, but maybe it go to 900. I don't care. I'm not gonna be selling. I bought for I've been accumulating at 500. If anything, I'm gonna be buying the dips. But I'm not going to be selling the tops here. What for? Just buy the dips and hold, because this is what I expect for Bitcoin Cash soon, in the next few weeks, months. That's what I see. That's what I can read. I'm going to leave the video here, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon, hopefully tomorrow. Bye.